Good morning or good afternoon.
What is going on, everybody? Yeah,
It is afternoon.
it is afternoon. It's 1 o'clock on Wednesday, and we're doing a show.
That seems very predictable of it. Maybe we should change it up.
I don't know about that. Hey, everybody, this
What
is
would you
Adam
do if Jeopardy was on at different, just random times all the time? You'd never see Jeopardy.
Is Jeopardy still on? How is Alec Trebek doing these days with his cancer?
He looks great, honestly. But apparently if you have that kind of money, good things happen.
Maybe.
Seems like it.
Right?
Although bad stuff happens to rich people every day, so what do I know?
That is true.
He seems to be doing good, though.
Absolutely. We are a Jeopardy family. We do try to watch often. But anyway, hey, it's Wednesday. This is the RealtyLife podcast, our weekly show. We come to you live from our remote locations in Clovis. A secret bunker? No secret bunkers. We're here at the Quality First office in Clovis, and where we talk about real estate stuff, we talk about news, and we talk about
Jeopardy?
Jeopardy. Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
It's the wild, wild west.
I know, it's crazy.
You know what? I really lost a lot of mojo with Wheel of Fortune. When I was a kid, that was like my show. And now it seems like they are really trying hard to make these puzzles convoluted. They will say it's one category and then it's really another category.
Say it ain't so.
It's trickery, tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
That Tom.
Tune in next week, episode 10. Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery will be our guest. That guy.
Crazy.
What's happening, buddy?
So listen, not to brag too much, but my wife and I, along with a bunch of our friends, have donated their time and energy and stuff into making my backyard into like an amazing place. And we are so really satisfied with all the work we've done. And I'm going to share some photos with you guys just to give you a little glimpse about, I don't really have our before and after picture. I'll do that some other time, put a little montage together. But we bought a gazebo kit from Costco. It's a big 14 by 12 all cedar metal roof, really nice gazebo.
Plug in Costco.
You know what? Everything comes from Costco these days, right? Or Amazon.
I was very happy. I went to Costco and there was toilet paper and paper towels.
What? That's awesome.
Stop. It was great.
That is awesome. So I'm gonna show some photos off here. So this is the gazebo we built. And it's really nice. It's 14 foot wide by 12 foot deep. Anyway,
it looks like a perfect square. So you're telling me
it's rectangular.
Okay,
that's correct.
I believe you.
It's a little view from when you sit down in our gazebo. You see our pool that we put in, and it is really awesome. And then this last weekend, so I was sitting in my spa, and we had all the lights on, and I looked over, and I'm like, wow, this is really pretty. So I took a couple of photos, and it's
good picture,
really
man.
Neat. Thank you.
Really cool.
Yeah, this one just has a little bit of the spa in it, and
I get to use it when he goes on vacation. I'm gonna have
you're now our dog and cat sitter, right? Awesome.
I wouldn't leave my dog and cat with me, but I will have fun in your pool.
Nice. Well, we built this privacy wall to cover up all of the pool equipment, and it's really neat. Put some pots out there, some solar lights, and
so those are solar lights right there.
They are. So that's a picture of it during the day. And I just picked up a friend of ours from church. He is a gardener. He's amazing. His name is Mike Moon. He just gave me a couple of grape plants. We're planting in these pots here, and we're gonna grow some grapes. I'm gonna be a grape growing vintner or something, So
I think you have to grow a lot of grapes too.
I thought it was kind of like I Love Lucy. You just put them in a barrel and you get to stomp on them and you make wine. Isn't that how it works?
Well, yeah, but that's a big barrel. I mean, we're talking a barrel, not a bucket.
Okay.
And
so I have to have more. You telling me I need more grapes?
You need more grapes. You need
Okay.
more grapes.
Well, I'm just gonna have grapes to eat at my house.
And they have to be the right kinds of grapes. You just can't be any old grapes.
Whatever. Anyway, what's up with you?
You know, nothing really. It's been super quiet. I've just enjoyed some downtime. My son came home from he spent 6 weeks away with all this COVID stuff. You know, he went to his big brother's on the coast and had a good time there. Then he went and visited his grandparents, went back there, and maybe he got homesick or run out of money or whatever, but he did come home, so it's nice to have him home. And I'm waiting in line for my handyman, our handyman, the handyman, to come out and do a bunch of work for me. So my house will be like 95% smartified. So my place was built in 1980. So that kind of modification, automation was not super easy to do. It wasn't the hardest thing in the world to do, but it was a little piecemeal. And then struggling with, I won't say the internet provider because I don't necessarily have great things to say about them. But you dealt with this too with the router, being able to communicate with all these devices. Their router was just inadequate, and having to buy my own router, a better router, which they don't like you to do that, and so it turns around. It makes everything else work good, but then at the same time it dysfunctions some of that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. You know, you were part of it, obviously. Real estate issue here with some clients. Their names will remain unsaid to protect them from any level of embarrassment or anything else. But listen, if you've got a great real estate person, listen to their advice. And they were in this kind of competitive offer situation. I put them in a position to win. And while they were hemming and hawing, she loved it. It was like a couple bucks more than he wanted to spend. And I'm like, listen, get in the contract and then think about it. You've got your cancellation period, right? We can think about it. We can mull it over. We don't want to cancel contracts. That's not what we're in, but it is designed to be able to do that. And they ended up during this, while they're hemming and hawing, the sellers took a different offer.
Yep.
Okay. And 5 hours later, our clients wanted to submit that offer, and it was too late. Had they just submitted it, they would have gotten their contract accepted, but instead they're without a home, and so we're back to the drawing board.
Crazy. Hey, just a little side note. I figure, they say sharing is caring, and the more support you have. Noel I'm super impressed with him as just his own personal discipline. He discovered he had, was it type 2 diabetes?
Yeah.
Type 2 diabetes. How many years ago? Like a dozen years ago? A long time ago.
7 years now.
So because of that, he had disciplined himself, and he's eaten and made sure that he keeps his diabetes in check very, very well. And so anyway, I officially Monday. No, I keeled over on Monday, and I died. No, I started eating a keto lifestyle on Monday, and so far so good. There's some struggles here and there, but I'm hoping to really get myself into better shape.
Yeah, no, it's a discipline's the right word, I guess, but once you get past that initial, the cravings for all the things that you are trying to avoid, once you get past that, it actually just a way of life.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken metformin, any diabetic medicine, in probably over 5 years now.
That's
and
great.
It's all diet and exercise.
Yep.
It's way better. I don't like putting that junk in my body. I'd rather put good food in there instead. And listen, I don't work out like a dog anymore, not like I did when I was a young man, but it's okay. You can take care of yourself, certainly.
Exactly.
So
far so good. So unfortunately, this name of the show today is House Flipping 101. I'm going to get into the heart of our topic. Unfortunately, our friend client Mr. Jan was unable to join us. He had something come up. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about house flipping from our perspective, because we've been doing this a long time, and because we've had clients and friends like Jan and other investors, we've learned a lot about the do's and don'ts of house flipping. And we're just going to share some insight with you guys. I will tell you right off the bat that all the TV shows out there that talk about house flipping this, house flipping that, you got to remember it's a reality TV show. They want to. There's a lot of good information that they share in those shows. But the reality of house flipping is not as glamorous as it is shown on TV.
Yeah, it's conceptually accurate, right? But the reality, of finding just the right ingredients, right? This has to be right, and it all coming together takes a lot of doing and a lot of research, and there's time invested. And that's probably the biggest challenge, is having the time to go find the properties. And keep in mind, the more bad shape a property is in, the more likely it is that there's going to be unforeseen
expensive issues.
Potentially expensive.
Yeah.
And unforeseen, when you're pulling up some flooring and then you're finding, damaged foundations and stuff like that in a 100-year-old house. That's a lot different than maybe your normal wear and tear, and
right.
that'll affect your ability to research and do some speculating.
Exactly. So, hey, for anybody out there who's just tuning in, and maybe you don't necessarily know exactly what house flipping is, right? It's been kind of a relatively new concept, let's say in the last 10, 15 years.
Oh, it became super big during the
popular, right?
Right.
But basically a flipped house is when an investor buys a house that needs fixing up, needs rehabilitation. He buys the rehab house at a reasonable, under market or cheap price, for lack of a better word. He then, once he owns it, he comes in and he fixes it all up. He makes it look good, makes it function properly. And traditional house flippers will actually make the houses be some of the best in the neighborhood in terms of quality, in terms of appearance, in terms of, and the turnkey-ness is perfect house. And they'll resell that home for a decent profit. And they flip it. The word flipping comes in as you're turning it over quickly, or you're flipping it, right? So that's kind of where the house flipping terminology kind of started.
Yeah, and it's important to understand the formula, and we call this reverse engineering, right? You have to know what that exit value is.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, here's one, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past. One of the biggest mistakes some of them will make, some flippers will make, is that they are being probably a little overly conservative and missing out on opportunities. Understanding just what you said, you are going to have the nicest product. So when you look at that exit value, you should be comparing it to the nicest homes on the block, right? Now you can build in a little cushion, right? You don't want to be wrong on that, but you should. So if you've got really nice houses or 300 and 305 and 310, you can probably say 305. That's probably my right exit number, and then work it backwards, right? How much profit do I need?
Yeah, it's amazing how similar. Like we had an episode just a couple weeks ago talking about becoming an investor for utilizing rentals, single family rentals as a way to create wealth and an income stream, a passive income stream for yourself. House flipping is a way to earn bigger chunks of money one house at a time, right? Because you're not going to hold them and keep them. The math is about the same in terms of the process getting towards choosing to buy that house or not. The difference is how much work you're going to do in that house to fix it up, and because the purposes are different. Your purpose for buying a flipped home is to make it super nice, to get somebody to pay top dollar for it on the resale, versus when you're buying and holding for a rental, you really just want to make that home into a nice, comfortable place for a family to live. And it's not necessarily as important to make sure that it's in the condition to gain top dollar on the resale market. So you have those differences. But again, it's all about the math. I know we said the M word.
Break out the abacus, take off your shoes, and let's do some. So right, you've got the exit, you've got your profit. I need to make 10, 20, 30, whatever your number is. And a lot of flippers will look at that number based on what they project the project to take. Is it going to take
how long?
Yeah, is it going to take a week, a month, right? The longer it takes, the more profit I want to make, because it's dictating that I may only do that one project. It's hard to do multiple. A lot of people don't have the resources to do that, right? Then you've got to look at what that, I think it's going to have X amount of cost, and it's probably easier to use an equation, X amount of dollars per square foot, and come up with a number, and then maybe even pad that a couple $1,000, $5,000 again, depending on how big that end figure now becomes your purchase price, right?
Yep, exactly.
I gotta get it for this, and that's where you're writing your contract, and that's how you build that all.
So let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts here real quick. Let's start off with a don't. Okay, if you're thinking about trying to flip a home or even trying to pick up a rental home, don't get emotionally attached to anything. One of the biggest mistakes investors will make, or especially junior investors or beginning investors, is they'll get their heart all tied up into a project, and that causes them to make decisions that aren't about the business, but about how you feel about the business, and that can really get you into some hot water. Especially in the negotiation phase, when you're looking to buy a place, you can't love it. You just have to look at it as a business.
And one of my favorite things was always, I don't love this neighborhood. Well, you're not living there. The question is, what do they sell for? Can they sell fast? And these are the things that matter. That's a business decision, right? Not a heartstring decision.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that some investors just can't get their minds wrapped around that enough, where they have to be able to detach themselves away from certain factors. Now, listen, if the proof of exit value is strong. Doesn't matter what the neighborhood's like, because houses in that neighborhood that are fixed up sell for this much, period.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about anything else. You just have to know have a strong enough confidence that when you fix this place up, it's going to sell for what you think it's going to sell for, generating your profit.
And then look at that with your agent. What are the days on market, right?
Yeah.
Nice house sells for X in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 90 days.
Yep, could be.
Right? If it's longer, then you've got to incorporate some carrying costs and things like that into your numbers in order to keep your formula sound. Otherwise, you can end up carrying a place that sits for 90 days and you had X amount of profit. Now your profit is Y instead of X. And that can severely affect your ability to go on to your next project.
Exactly.
So, folks, if you're thinking about investing in this, make sure you understand the rules within your county, your city and your county, because a lot of them have had different rules. You needed to live in it and all kinds of things. Otherwise, you had to have a different type of a business license and things like that. So understand what you're doing and seek out counseling from a good real estate professional or a great one. Ding.
Yeah, pick me, right?
That being said,
so let me ask you a question, Noel.
Yes, sir.
So how much money does it take to flip a home?
Well, it's going
to generally speaking, how much money do I need to start to flip a home?
It may not be as much as you think. Ding. Which leads us to what you're going to talk about financing, right?
Oh, well, sure I can.
That was the idea.
Yeah, I know. I really wasn't picking up your eyebrow movements there. Just so you guys know, we actually communicate to each other with our eyebrows during the show, and yeah, he was sending mixed signals there.
I've been accused of that before.
So listen, there is a new there's an abundance of money that is available to borrow from a lot of different sources, including what we refer to as the hard money lending segment of the mortgage industry. Hard money lenders basically don't require a lot of collateral, if any collateral, to give you money for a project. Okay, some might require you to utilize your own personal residence as collateral, just for security's sake. If you don't have a lot of history with them, or maybe some credit issues or whatever, but they don't require a lot of collateral. Their business model is based on getting paid for their money faster and at a higher rate than you would typically get for a long, extended, amortized loan, right? So your typical mortgage is a 30-year mortgage. So you say you borrow $300,000, it's amortized over a 30-year period, with a majority of the interest being paid up front during the first 5 to 7 years. In the amortization scale, you can look at that up if you want. But a hard money lender basically says, so it's an interest only loan typically, and you borrow the X amount of dollars, you pay each month a stroke or a payment based on that interest, and it's not paying down the principal. Okay, you're basically paying them a fee for you getting the money to use. And most people, when they flip a home, they'll borrow the money and they'll have it for 2 to 3 months tops. When they sell that, they pay off the loan, and the people have already gotten their profit from it because you've made those payments.
That financing becomes part of that formula, right? This is part of that cost of doing that holding cost, so to speak. And obviously that's going to dictate how you calculate your profits.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we got a home that fits that bill, and it's got some great activity on it. We had an offer, and those on Fairmead last week, and they're still hemming and hawing whether that's going to be the move for them to make now that they understand how they have to go about doing that business. And so knowing what you need to do when you're going to buy a certain type of home and what kind of financing you're going to need is going to be important. We've also got a manufactured home. Now there is some financing that you have to consider on mobile homes, manufactured homes as well. So there's two real types of products there where you have either I own the land. Plenty of people have manufactured homes that are built on a permanent foundation on land that they own. Much more easy to finance than number two, or type B, is the manufactured home inside a park. Right, this is leased land. You don't own that, so there's a different risk position for those types of lenders. So we have a couple of lenders in the area. Let's see, I've got there. What's that? First Pacific Financial is 1-800-460-0019. So if you are looking at a manufactured home in a park and you need to get financing, that's one of your options. Santiago Financial, they're out of the area, 714-731-8080. So if you're wanting to look at a manufactured home in town, in a park, and you want to show this, but you don't have the cash, then you need to contact one of these people, get yourself pre-qualified so you can write an offer and get the home.
The challenge is that with a mobile home that's in a park, you're not buying the land. It's actually considered more like personal property, kind of like a car loan, or some other kind of personal loan. That's what it is, more of a personal real estate loan rather than a traditional.
Right, and you're not paying quote unquote property tax on that, because it is, like I said, it's much more like an automobile. There are some state costs, fees to that, but it's not going to be the big property taxes. You save a lot of money in property taxes if you live in a manufactured home park on lease land.
The other kind of financing. So speaking about our property on Fairmead, the challenge of this property is that it's almost ready for a regular loan. The challenge is that it's missing just a few elements there. Primarily, it needs a dedicated heat source. Has to be heated according to the law. So this home would qualify for a 203K, which is an FHA product, or a conventional home improvement loan. Okay, and you can do a home improvement purchase loan as well. So origination.
They're just going to require that work is done and verifiable in X amount of period of time. So keep that, and you're going to pay a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different, but it will not. Standard financing is not going to work.
Correct.
For any lender on regular conventional FHA financing, you have got to have a permanent heat source in that. It is the letter of the law. So last deal here, we need a replacement property. We've got our friends in Gilroy. We've got their home in contract, trucking along nicely. We are aggressively seeking a replacement property for them, and we need it's got to be 3 bedrooms plus. Needs to be right around 2,000 square foot. Needs a little bit of a front yard or a little bit of a backyard, and it really needs to have a driveway. Because parking in a lot of those communities out there can be really tough, and they really want to have a driveway. So if that is a property that you or someone you know is considering selling, please, please, please reach out to us and let us know, and we will hook you up with our clients. They are ready to buy. They're ready to buy, and they're looking at about 740,000, something like that. So we have the capacity to get it done.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, we are looking for new listings. If you're looking at, if you've been thinking about selling your house in the last, 6 months, you've been kind of on the fence about it. Listen, we're getting the job done, and we will do an amazing job for you. In fact, we just got a couple of reviews in from our clients. That right here, say basically Adam and Noel are awesome. They took really good care of us.
You, but it's nice to hear from somebody else.
These are clients that
great. Trust me. Yeah. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
During the pandemic, Adam and Noel did an amazing job for us. They were super accommodating. We go above and beyond for our clients. We'll do it for you.
Virtual open houses, the podcast, we're out all the time marketing and looking at new and inventive ways. And boy, we listen, we pull all the tricks out, don't we? It's absolutely important, and that's why we got everything sold, really.
Yeah. We need more to sell.
We need some more to sell.
We need more inventory.
And you need someone like us to sell it. So
yes, we do.
That's our plug. Reach out to us. kfhomesales@gmail.com. 559-235-9022.
That's 559-235-9022.
And you can come see us in our Clovis location, 96 Shaw Avenue, Suite 232.
You got it. All right, everybody. Adam and Noel signing out. I'm going to sign Noel out first. Now it's just me, baby. Woo!